welcome to today's episode of the Balanced Approach podcast. I'm your host, Louis Padian. I hope that you're doing well and are enjoying the podcast and the topics we've covered so far. These podcasts are released every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so be sure to subscribe wherever you are listening to be kept up to date. So today we're going to be covering 3 more ways to beat being too busy. Get healthy even when you're short on time. So we've already covered this with 4-step process on episode 32, I think it was, where we covered understanding that you will always be busy, which is a key concept within this, that actually if we don't accept that we are going to be busy, even if we get less busy, when we get busy again, this will drop off, and this is something that we want to keep doing long term. Finding workouts that fit your schedule, picking better meals and snacks on the go, and getting enough sleep, which if you haven't listened to the podcast on sleep, I'd highly recommend, because I think it's such an important factor and a really simple, not necessarily easy thing, but a big win in people improving their health and well-being around losing weight, improving their diet, managing their hunger, managing their emotions and stress a bit better. Sleep is a key part of that. But now we're going to build on that. So as I've said, truth is we're always going to be busy. Yes, comparably, people are at different levels of busyness, but everyone still feels busy. If you have nothing to do, you'll fill that time by feeling busy. So tip number 1 would be asking for support. And this is often something that we really struggle with. I know I struggle with this massively, have in the past, and I still do. It's saying that it's okay to ask for people to help and step in, that everyone feels like they need to do it on their own. So talking to your friends, your family, your co-workers about your goals and what you're trying to achieve. I believe most people really want to support people that they care about. So having that conversation going, actually, this thing is really important to me, and I'd really appreciate if you could help in some way, or if you could stop doing this really unhelpful behavior. So if you could stop offering me cakes every lunch, and say, oh, probably limiting the amount of cakes I'm trying to have because it's not in line with my weight loss goals. If you could look after the kids 1 or 2 nights a week while I go to the gym, that'd be really helpful. I really appreciate that. These sort of things that often people will be more than happy to do, and it's very much a give and take relationship with a lot of people. And sure, you're doing a lot for other people, but holding back on these. So having these conversations to be hugely supportive. So again, I think it's really interesting to sort of have a look at the research, because I think it'd be really empowering to look at these numbers. So research found that people who had social support for their weight loss goals were 40% more likely to lose weight and keep it off than those who didn't. 40% is massive. And not only lose weight, but keeping it off, which is what we all want to achieve, just by having social support there, people enabling your behaviors and habits that you want to do, those things that you're starting on. So eating more fruits and vegetables, people getting on board with your new recipes or going for walks with you, can have a huge impact, 40% on people being more successful than those who didn't. They found that people who exercise with a friend were 24% more likely to stick to their exercise routine than those who exercised alone. So having that social buddy, that's someone that you meet at the gym. I know that in the past, I've had friends that I've met at the gym, we've had a good catch, we've had a really good workout. And that accountability of knowing that I'm going to meet someone there made me more likely to go, especially when me and my friend Liam at uni, we used to go. I think we used to go for a 5:30 in the morning session. And every morning we'd message him and go, even though I wasn't feeling it, go, still on for 5:30? He'd go, yep. And he'd message me sometimes. And it would just keep us accountable. We were definitely more likely to go at 5:30 because we knew that we were meeting someone there. And another study found that actually it wasn't just 24%, they found 33% as well more likely to stick to their exercise routine as well. So just having someone there, having a friend that you go to that class with, having that running group, having that social community where you go and do some activity together, can just make you more likely to stick to that activity long term, because we're highly sociable animals. We are animals at the end of the day. So understanding that social aspect is really important. Sometimes that being by yourself can be your headspace, and that's brilliant as well. But understanding where it fits for you and having those social elements in there can be hugely influential, like being successful long term or falling at the wayside, which happens to a lot of people. So tip number 2 would be plan your workouts ahead of time. So one of the things that you can do to make it so much more successful to stick to your activity routine, gym program, whatever you want to say, is plan it in like a scheduled appointment. Treat it as just as important as any other appointment that you have. Often we're the first people to let down out of anyone. We would rather let ourselves down than anyone else. So actually booking it in as a non-negotiable appointment can be a really useful way to assure that you're more likely to stick to it. This is where having a personal trainer, having a class or a community or a club to turn up to, again, allows you to be more consistent with that. Knowing that you've got to turn up to a run club at 6 p.m. on a Monday night makes you more likely to stick to that long term, because again, that social element is really important. But that timed blocked out means that you're more likely to go, I can't have got a run club that night, rather than going, well, I can just run on Tuesday by myself. And it just makes it a lot less flexible, which we know flexibility can be important, but having rigidity in there makes you more likely to stick to it long term. Again, having a personal trainer, someone there that's going to have you penciled in their diary, so they're penciled in your diary, again, makes you more likely to turn up and do it as well. When I was at David Lloyd, this was one of the biggest things I mentioned previously around episodes where what I'd look at if I go to gym, around gym inductions. We delivered gym inductions quite a lot, and I really enjoyed it because often people go to the gym with the best intentions. They sign up, they want to go and they want to smash it. They want to while they're highly motivated, they want to make all this progress really quickly. And often they might not have considered reality or their current schedule as part of that. So me sitting down with them going, right, as part of our program, the program was actually really nice laid out. You'd get a free gym program. I'd walk them around the machines, show them how to use them. Really good concept, and something that if I ever work in a facility or own a facility or anything like that, I would bring in with that in a heartbeat. Having a gym program scheduled in for you, fantastic. Us sitting down discussing their goals, brilliant. Me sitting down with them and going, right, so how often are you going to come to the gym? And them going 2 or 3 times a week. When are you most likely to come? In the evenings. What evenings are you going to come in? And me writing it down on their program that they get access to, means that they have to consider what's going on in their lives. And again, it would cause them to go, actually, I can't do Mondays because I work late on Mondays or I'm working away. Tuesday, I've got this thing with the kids. Wednesday, and before we know it, actually, it might not work. So actually, it's being a bit more flexible with their goals and penciling in and going, actually, maybe instead of going for 3 or 4, we're actually going to go for 2 really good sessions on Wednesday and Friday. Makes it easier to build that consistency, rather than going, I'm going to set myself up for 3 or 4 gym sessions and not really figure out where you're going to get them, not build that consistency, just picking odd sessions in where you can go. It means that probably those sessions won't be as good in intensity, probably won't be as ready for them mentally, but it means that it's probably less likely to stick long term as well. So understanding that, having that appointment in there, knowing when that's going to fit in your schedule, can be really important. So people who plan their workouts ahead of time, this is from a 2011 study, were 80% more likely to stick to their exercise routine than those who did not plan their workouts ahead of time. 80%, almost twice as likely, which is huge. So 2009 study found people who set SMART goals, where their workouts were 90% more likely to achieve their goals than those who didn't. And we've done goal setting on a previous episode 11. So if you want to learn about setting goals and beyond, the episode is called Beyond Smarter Goals, because the SMART principle, the SMART acronym, is really useful for setting goals. But there's another one that I use around grow. Combine the two means that not only will you help you set goals a lot better, but I think they're a lot more effective long term as well. So definitely recommend checking out episode 11 if you can. So setting SMART goals, which I definitely think aren't the best structure, they're good structure but not the best, were 90% more likely to stick to their exercise routine. So again, huge. So 80% just by planning your workouts or having them planned in your diary ahead of time, 90% more likely by actually using a structure to set those goals. Just by doing those 2 things, you're astronomically in a better position than you would by just rocking up and seeing how you get on. So planning your workouts ahead of time, not only in your diary, but actually planning the structure around the session as well, can be a really effective tool. Number 3 is make exercise a social event. So as we've seen around the social support element, exercising with a friend is really beneficial. But making it social, making it enjoyable, makes it more easy to be motivated. I know when I've delivered classes in the past, we've had some slots that were really busy and some that weren't that busy, and people would tend to stick to sort of their regular routine. They might come to my Tuesday morning class, but my Tuesday lunchtime class might not be as busy because a lot of people don't manage to get in for it. And I know people would really struggle or find it difficult if we delivered the class off. Just offer them a free PT session for a one-on-one session and say, like, right, we can make this completely about you. If there's anything you don't know how to use, I'm more than happy to show you what your goals, maybe review their plan if they hadn't reviewed it in a while. But having a social element, a lot of people would turn up specifically for that because they'd get 10-15 minutes before the class, they'd have their friends, they'd have a real good catch up, they'd be stood next to them during the class doing this, doing whatever. And even some of them would be, if I knew a small certain group, I remember these 4 guys would always just go hell for leather in the session. They really enjoyed a really tough workout. I'd tailor my sessions towards that if I knew that they were coming and maybe nobody else was, because we get a class list beforehand, and they'd really get a buzz off being around each other, just working hard, grafting, and they'd love it, and I'd love delivering those sessions as well. There's nothing more as a personal trainer or group instructor seeing people get a real buzz from sessions and exercise, because exercise is phenomenal and I love it, and I'd love more people to fall in love with exercise in whatever form or physical activity. So when we look at the most successful sort of weight loss programs as well, the most successful for men across the board, without doubt, and part of my research project, I must have reviewed a couple of hundred papers to go into this meta-analysis and systematic review, where basically I've got a strict criteria of what I'm looking to assess. Papers and research projects need to fall within that, and then I compare them to sort of control the controllables and see how effective certain aspects are. And for men, without a shadow of a doubt, the most effective weight loss program was a program called Man versus Fat, and I'm a huge fan and advocate of this program because I've seen that not only does it benefit people's weight, but men really struggle socially unless it's going out to the pub, it's going to the football, actually turning up to a football session where it's not really about the football. It's actually about not really about losing weight. It's actually about turning up, seeing your mates, having a good time, playing a bit of football, which they haven't done for years, maybe building that social connection, that camaraderie. And it would be in a league system. It's just a fantastic initiative funded by the FA, and that had phenomenal impacts on men's weight loss in general. I think a big part of that was the social element. I know people who've done it directly, and I've looked at the research around the reviews of it as well. So that was a huge initiative. Another one, making it a social event. The biggest free social event each week that I'm a big fan of again is Parkrun, a 5 kilometer walk or run now, and I'm a big fan of the fact they've really incorporated running as well, because a lot of patients and clients that I recommend it to around just getting more active. And Saturday morning, again, pencil in their diary, they know they're going to be covering 5 kilometers, which is brilliant. And there's a huge social element to it as well. There's a big community, wider national community, where you get emailed and talk around events, completely free to be a part of. I'm a huge fan of it. I take part myself, but it's a huge advocate for making it more sociable, making physical activity and exercise more sociable for people. Yeah, you get some really serious runners there, which is brilliant. It's great for them, but also you get some people who it might be their first time ever walking or running that distance, and there's lots of wardens around. Everyone thanks the people who monitoring the course. There's people who's marshalling, that's the word I'm looking for. Everyone thanks the marshals as they go around. It's just such a positive atmosphere, and it makes people more likely to go back because there's people there they can talk to, there's people there that they can have a chat to and catch up with who they might not have seen, who live in the local area. So if you haven't already and you think that sounds interesting, definitely check out Parkrun. So the research around this, that actually people who participated in fitness classes were 86% more likely to lose weight and keep it off than those who didn't participate in fitness classes, from a 2011 paper. And again, some of these numbers are just phenomenally high, 80%, 86%, and 90%, just from planning in your workouts, getting committed to a certain time in your diary, making exercise sociable. And these are simple things that people don't necessarily jump to when they're trying to lose weight. They're trying to restrict their food, they're trying to go for runs, and actually just get on board with a family friend, having that conversation around getting some support in there. Again, sort of around 33% more likely or 40% more likely to lose weight and keep it off just by having social support in your weight loss goals, just by making it sociable. 86%. These are big numbers that you can sort of pick at and incorporate from the get-go if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to get healthier and fitter. Just by making these small changes could have a phenomenal impact on the success of your weight loss, but also maintaining it long term. So those are the 3. And we've got episode 32 that we built on, which was understanding that you'll always be busy and accepting that. Again, we talk about control and controllables, understanding that a lot of things are outside of control and accepting that and working with our situation rather than against it. Finding workouts and exercise that fit your schedule. So again, working into your diary around that as well. Then we've got picking better meals and snacks on the go. We've got getting enough sleep. Then we've got asking for support, planning your workouts ahead of time, and then also making exercise more sociable. So there you have it. Thank you very much for listening to today's episode of the Balanced Approach podcast. If you have any questions, queries, or would like to reach out to me, please do. I am at Louis Padian Nutrition, which is at LOUISPADIAN Nutrition on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and all other social media platforms. If you're looking for support in achieving your goals and living a healthier, happier, and more balanced life in the process, click the link below and inquire about working with me. Remember to subscribe to the Balanced Approach podcast wherever you're listening for more insightful episodes, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.